one of history's most notorious sexual offenders, Jeffrey Epstein. His crimes were brought before the public when the U.S. Congress passed a law called the Epstein Files Transparency Act. As part of this, the United States Department of Justice recently released 3 million pages of documents from the Epstein files, more than 2,000 videos, and over 180,000 images. However, the Donald Trump administration has faced widespread criticism for concealing information within these documents. In particular, many questions have been raised about the extensive redactions, large portions of information being blacked out in the released files. These files are so vast that alongside many controversial figures from the past, recently released documents have also mentioned the names of India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Bangladesh's former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, and even the current chief advisor of the government, Dr. Muhammad Yunus. However, there is no information directly implicating them in any criminal activity. Centered around the Epstein files, numerous sensational rumors are being spread on social media, many of which are detached from reality. In this episode, we will discuss who Jeffrey Epstein was, what is actually contained in the Epstein files, and what happened, why and how. Jeffrey Epstein began his career in the 1970s as a school teacher, but within a very short time, he left the teaching profession and moved into investment banking. Initially, he worked at a bank, but later in 1982, he established his own investment firm. Epstein's firm became so successful that he only accepted clients whose assets exceeded $1 billion. Epstein owned properties in various countries around the world, not just in America. He even had a private island of his own in the Caribbean region. In reality, behind this influence and wealth, Epstein operated an organized network for the sexual abuse and trafficking of underage girls for many years. Epstein regularly associated with some of the most powerful and influential people in the world. Among them were Britain's Prince Andrew, former U.S. President Bill Clinton, current President Donald Trump, Microsoft founder Bill Gates, pop star Michael Jackson, political thinker Noam Chomsky, tech billionaire Peter Thiel, and many other elite figures. In 2005, the dark side of Epstein's secret life came to light for the first time. Several underage girls accused him of sexually exploiting 14-year-old minors. An even more serious allegation was that Epstein used his private plane to transport billionaires to his private island, where trafficked underage girls were forced to spend the night with his wealthy friends. Despite strong evidence against him, Epstein received only a light sentence of 13 months in 2008. At that time, Epstein manipulated the U.S. justice system using his powerful network. In 2018, the #MeToo movement against sexual harassment began worldwide. As a result, Jeffrey Epstein's crimes once again came to public attention. Inspired by the Me Too movement, many more women came forward with allegations against Epstein. One after another, serious accusations emerged about the trafficking of underage girls abroad. As more incidents surfaced, the matter became increasingly disgusting and murky. In 2019, while legal proceedings were ongoing, Epstein was found dead in a New York prison. It was claimed that he had committed suicide. But when such a powerful and infamous accused person dies mysteriously in the middle of a high-profile sensitive case, the matter cannot be taken lightly. Immediately after this incident, people across America began to believe that there must be some deep mystery and conspiracy behind Jeffrey Epstein's scandal. Suspicion, questions, and distrust swept across the entire nation. A few weeks after Epstein's death, a forensic pathologist stated that it was not suicide but murder. According to him, Epstein's neck bones were broken, indicating death by deliberate strangulation. At the same time, it was revealed that on the night Epstein died, the CCTV cameras near his cell were not working, and the footage from that night had gone missing. Not only that, even in the footage released by the Department of Justice for that week, An entire minute of video was missing. Another abnormal fact was that just one day before Epstein's death, his cellmate was removed from the cell. Why Jeffrey Epstein was kept alone that night, who was on duty, who first discovered Epstein's body, none of these basic questions received clear answers. The most widely held belief is that to protect the interests of multiple U.S. presidents and many influential figures listed in Epstein's Black Book, Jeffrey Epstein may have been murdered and his death staged as a suicide. Jeffrey Epstein, along with his associate Ghislaine Maxwell, trapped powerful American figures using honey traps or sexual entrapment and collected secret videos and information to blackmail them later. After Epstein's death, Ghislaine Maxwell was sentenced to 20 years in prison, but the American public was not ready to forget the matter. Instead, signs of another deep and mysterious chapter in this scandal began to emerge. The most terrifying allegation is that Israel's intelligence agency Mossad was behind Jeffrey Epstein's entire operation. It is claimed that Epstein's immense wealth, his abnormal influence, and his repeated ability to evade the U.S. legal system were possible only because he possessed the dirty secrets of powerful Americans. Although Epstein publicly worked as a financial advisor to billionaires, in reality, he allegedly acted as a Mossad agent, using honey traps to blackmail his clients. Critics argue that without Mossad's assistance, how could an ordinary schoolteacher suddenly become a billionaire? How did he acquire luxury properties at home and abroad, and how did his connections with powerful individuals begin? Conspiracy theorists claim that Israel has long used back-channel blackmail in this manner. They argue that this strategy has played a massive role in Israel's current influence over American politics. In reality, American politicians are said to be more loyal to Israel than to America itself. America does what Israel tells it to do. America signs agreements Israel wants and breaks agreements Israel wants broken. Regardless of whether they are Democrats or Republicans, nearly all politicians in the U.S. Congress protect Israel's interests. Many say this is due to financial and religious reasons. But the level of loyalty shown toward Israel suggests there must be some deeper reason. According to conspiracy theorists, Israel has long been honey-trapping American politicians to extract maximum loyalty from them. According to directives passed by the U.S. Congress, all Epstein-related documents were supposed to be released by December 19, 2025. However, the Trump administration did not release all the documents within that deadline. Later, Congress passed a law making the release of this massive set of documents mandatory. Previously, the U.S. Department of Justice claimed to have identified more than 6 million documents. But recently, only about 3.5 million documents have been released. Why the remaining documents were not published has now become a major political controversy in the United States. There is also ongoing debate over whether all documents related to Donald Trump have been released. One of the most important elements of the Epstein files is Jeffrey Epstein's personal contact list, commonly known as his Black Book. Epstein's associate and personal assistant, Ghislaine Maxwell, recorded the names, phone numbers, and other details of Epstein's elite clients in this book. This roughly 97-page book contains more than 1,500 names, nearly 5,000 phone numbers, thousands of emails, and home addresses. Some names are marked with stars or arrows, though their meaning is unclear. However, merely being listed does not mean the individual is a criminal. The most infamous component of the Epstein files is the flight log. This list contains the names of trafficked children and underage girls, as well as elite sexual abusers who traveled on Epstein's private plane. This is where Epstein's power network becomes visible. Many top politicians, businessmen, and celebrities appear on this list. Recently, claims have been made that the names of Narendra Modi and Sheikh Hasina appear in the Epstein files. However, these are merely minor mentions in emails and other documents and are not connected to any criminal activity. Modi's name appears in an email stating that during his 2017 visit to Israel, he performed dance and music for the U.S. president at Epstein's suggestion. Sheikh Hasina's name does not appear directly. Rather, she is mentioned indirectly as the Prime Minister of Bangladesh in relation to a state meeting with Norwegian Foreign Minister Børge Brende in 2018. This was not a criminal context. Additionally, Muhammad Yunus's name appears 13 times in the files. These references involve discussions about the Grayman America Wellness Center plan, Yunus's cameo appearance in The Simpsons episode Mona Lisa, discussions on zero poverty and zero carbon, and his presence at Clinton Foundation events. Some reports allege money laundering through the Grayman network, but these claims are unproven and there are no direct accusations in the Epstein files. In reality, the Epstein files expose such a repulsive side of American society that even a civilized society would hesitate to discuss it. Yet such vulgar acts have been carried out secretly for decades. Not only morally, but financially as well, America's elites have engaged in extremely disgraceful activities. The global economy relies on the dollar, yet the institution that prints the dollar is a private organization. Even the U.S. Federal Reserve, the regulator of the dollar, is actually a private bank.